Cool. Deborah Priya, were you saying that you can't share the screen or?
Yeah, for some reason my Wi-Fi is not connecting to my laptop, so I'm trying to get it started. But Kunal, yours is the first topic, so you can just start with it now.
Yeah, sure. I can share my screen.
Okay. Before we do that, how about? Yeah, were you saying that you can't share the screen? Yeah, before we do that, how about you guys kick off the meeting?
Yeah.
Like Meshmate Nikhil might want to share the meeting minutes, and then Deborah Priya, you can start. Make sure you introduce, welcome any newcomers potentially.
Yeah.
Sure. Just a second. Here it is.
So hi guys, welcome to the website's call. We have, I think, newcomers on the call today. Is there anyone on the call who is attending this for the first time? If you've been on other calls, feel free to introduce yourself on this one as well, because we have new members in every call. So Alan, is this your first website's call? Alan or anyone who's new to the call, you can feel free to introduce yourself to everyone else.
Okay, good everyone. Hope you can hear me. Okay, so I'm Itine. It's not really my first time on the call, but my first time after a very long time.
Anyone else who's in the call? Okay, so I think we can start with the meeting minutes right now. So Kunal, would you like to take it over from here?
Yeah, sure. So can I share my screen? This one.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, last week we, the mentors of the She Code Africa project, actually met, and we had a nice discussion on some of the questions that Raj had. So yeah, those were really amazing questions, and we actually discussed some of those, and we actually created this doc. And today, like, we'll be actually going over through what all we discussed, and some of the roadblocks that we are having and some doubts that we had. So first of all, the first question was that came in Raj's mind was, which type of leaderboard are we actually planning to build? So there were actually two approaches that we discussed. First one was the real-time one. By that we mean, like, whenever a member would be joining the discussion forum, their data would be automatically updated at that particular time to the leaderboard. And the second one would be updating updating the data once in a day. So it doesn't matter how many of the members would be joining per day, we'll be fixing a particular time, and at that particular point in time only the leaderboard would be updated accordingly. So like, after some of the discussion, we actually jumped onto the conclusion that updating the leaderboard results once in a day would be a little optimized, because right now the discussion forum doesn't have much traffic, because we are actually working on that one. But once the traffic would be there would be a lot of traffic, and a lot of folks would be joining the discussion forum, we can like convert it into a real time one. Is anyone saying something? I'm actually
I think Tracy is on.
Yeah, Tracy, it would be great if you could mute. Thank you. Yeah, so right now we actually came upon the conclusion that we'll be updating it once in a day, and in the future we can always update it real time. We also took an example of the MLS leaderboard that actually follows the real time updation approach. But yeah, right now we'll be working on updating it once in a day. So any thoughts on that? Anyone? Raj, Yash, do you want to add something here?
So now you can continue. I think.
So my question is, when you say we need to update it once a day, so is it manually or will it be having like we'll have some API also which would do it automatically?
I think like we can work with the API. We can set up an API to do that particular task.
Like that would be automated, right? It would keep on running every day at a particular point of time
Yeah,
to update the reader. There is no manual intervention required.
yeah, we didn't actually think of that part. Yash or Raj would like to jump in here quick.
Yeah, as for now, we are planning to have a program or route or something that would run at a particular time throughout the day, once a day, and it will update the ranking on the leaderboard.
Okay, so when you say like as you have mentioned, there are some community leaderboards already, like MLH. Do you have any reference link for that so that others on the call can check that out?
Yeah, sure, I can link to the MLS leaderboard.
Or you can even share it if you have it handy right now.
I actually
Like on
don't
these
have it
tables.
handy. Yeah, by MLS leaderboard, we actually mean that the leaderboard that is being used in the hackathons of MLHs. So I can be find and link to this doc a little bit later and can update it on the general channel so others can view.
Okay.
It can also be like which we have in LFX mentorship page, the top, where we have the most popular mentors and most popular programs. I
Probably
shared
which
the
comes
link
up in
point.
the hero section itself.
Yeah. So any more thoughts on this? Any more questions anyone has?
So based on
Yeah, you can go on.
uh, no, I was just asking that based on your discussion, which of the route are you guys planning to take over? Have you guys decided on a particular thing, or is it still under development?
Yeah, we actually came upon the conclusion that we'll be following the approach in which we'll be updating it once in a day. But we actually took this to this call right now to discuss which approach should we follow. But in the meet, we actually came upon this conclusion of updating it once in a day. So according to you all, what approach would be good? Because this conclusion we actually came upon thinking of the fact that we don't have many members right now on the discussion forum. So this one would be an optimized one if we follow, like updating it once in a day. And in the future, like in the future plan is making it a real-time updation when we'll be having more members on the discussion forum that are constantly engaged.
So if we go ahead with the smaller part as of now, like having it updated once in a day, and then move on later to individual UI as mentioned. So how much effort would that be compared to the other one? Like, will that be a totally new effort, or having it gradually, both of them side by side, would do as now?
Having a real-time ranking system will require to uh, have a one more endpoint at each of the activities uh, at the community forum routes, because right now we are planning to have a separate database to store the rankings which we will use to display on the leaderboard. So, yep. Each activity will require an event to update that particular database as well.
Okay, so even if we have that added in the forum itself, right, as of now, the extra endpoint that you are referring to, that should be a change from the discourse UIS itself. Like that doesn't require any code intervention, code changes, right?
No, that will not require any code, changes into the UI, but it will require multiple code changes into the backend.
Like having okay, as of now, I don't have any other questions because I'm lacking a reference. So once we have a reference, I might have some other questions. So I will hand it over to Devopriya. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, sure. So, let's move on to another point. Then the next question we had was, are we going to create like a new database for, an external database, for storing the information of the users, and then query that particular information from that to create, to supply to a leaderboard, or are we actually going to, use the forums DB itself? So yeah, again, mentioning that point, we'll be actually using the forums DB and querying that basically to generate all the information of the users and get the desired user data to fetch, to feed our particular leaderboard. And in the future, like when we'll have a lot more traffic on our particular discussion forum, we can follow the approach of actually creating a external database and then storing it and querying it to get the data to our leaderboard. So this was actually the second point that we discussed. Any thoughts on that? Anyone? Raj, do you have something more to add to it? Or Yash?
No.
Not so much to add.
Yeah. All right. So I guess, yeah.
Yeah, by external database, we mean an external database or even a separate table within the same database. So any suggestions or any questions from anybody?
Yeah, like what according to you all would be a good approach to follow here? Because this is just some of the points that we all discussed with amongst ourselves, and that's why we are discussing on the meetings with the experienced folks to get a little bit more perspective.
Yeah, actually, I would say it's not about good approach or bad approach. It's about the trade-off that we are looking to make. For example, we are going to have approximately 2 or 3 mentees, and we are expecting them to have a beginner level of expertise in programming and computer science.
Yep. Yeah, agreed on that one.
What trade-off should we make?
You could go ahead with the complete talk. Like we could and like discuss on the required approach at the end. If anything more is required to explain. Otherwise, what my suggestion would be, we could go ahead with the if it is aimed only for the She Code Africa program, then we should go with the easier application as well. It's not only related to the DB itself, but to the whole leaderboard plan, because ultimately it's an program which spans only across 2 months, and we might be having contributors coming in and out. So having a dedicated task might not be a good idea because it would get expanded. Like it won't get completed under the estimated time that we would plan it was. Unless we have dedicated contributors for it, it might get hampered. So my suggestion would be to go ahead with the smaller one, like which would take lesser time, and we could expect it to get completed within 2 months of time. And if the initial dashboard updation, like a separate, just having an extra endpoint and some changes in the backend would require less time, then we could first go ahead with that approach. Once we have that settled in already, then if the time permits and everything goes well in that direction, then we could think about the external web page to have the further ranking and all this stuff.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, got it. Sure. So yeah, that was the second one. So let's move on to the third one. So the third one would be like, the rank generation algorithm that we'll be working on. So basically how we'll be actually, ranking the users on the leaderboard. That is basically the idea. So in that we actually, took example of how the Stack Overflow or the leaderboard is actually working. We actually have to, do a little bit more research on that, but we actually took this for an example. So right now the idea is basically to set up a scale of like 10 points basically. So the parameter, if we talk about like the parameters, so most of the points would be given to the user who actually solves most of the doubts in certain posts and marks them as a solution. So that particular user will be getting the most points. Then the next one would be, we'll be categorizing according to the activeness, which would basically include like upvoting posts and replying to other people's posts, and the total usage time of that particular member. So this basically will all come in the terms of activeness of that particular user. So we'll be giving the particular user points according to that. The scale would be 10, 1 to 10. Yeah. And these were only the two parameters that we were able to discuss in that particular meeting. If right now, if you all have any other suggestions on what other parameters can be added to this one, we are open for more suggestions. Yeah.
Have you guys checked out this link already? Like, my question is, do we don't have already any provision to have a leaderboard without any extra changes? Like just a few small changes would that won't be doing it. Like I found this one as well, which gives the leaderboard details. It's just an implementation on the Discord site itself to show the leaderboard. It's on a weekly basis, but we could switch it for a month, a day, a quarter, a year as well.
This one, right, Nikhil? I hope I'm opening the right link.
Yeah, that's not coming up on the screen though.
Just a second. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
All right.
I guess the end aim is having something like this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what exactly is the process to have this set up, but I just wrote down leaderboard in discourse, and this was the first discussion which I was pointed to. And the link I've just pasted in the chat. You could follow that discussion as well.
Yeah, I think the end result should be something like that. I agree with you. Replies we read
something more than this that we are expecting from it.
Given. All right. So I guess we can make changes to like these parameters basically. according to this, we can take this as an example because I didn't know about this one. This is a mistake on my part. I didn't search much.
You could even check out the last link which I pasted. That is a discussion for how to create a leaderboard. So you can even add it on the. I pasted in the meeting notes so that you can use that.
Yeah, this could help us. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing this, Nikhil.
Basically, my aim is like if we are only planning it for sheep or Africa, so keeping it smaller would be the best option. Then later on, we could of course expand it. But of course, if we are keeping it small, because if we are making any additional changes, right? If we are making any additional databases, or even if we are creating any additional dashboard, then just investing some time in a smaller dashboard, which will ultimately not take small time and much bigger chunk of time for a different person. Having it in a smaller way, which would require lesser effort, would be good. And then having, if we are wanting a dedicated page, something like that, that would require more effort. And keeping it as a longer task or an epic would be a better idea.
What I suggested in the meeting before we had was on the home page, we can just add a list of people like 10 of the top contributors or the top on the leaderboard, and add like a read more button or the whole list, and redirect them to other page like which you shared here. Here is also shown it. And also add the ranking in their profile also. That would be really great if we had enough time to complete that.
Yeah, but I really agree with Nikhil's idea that we should be right now focusing on like building a smaller version of this one, like taking into consideration the time duration of She Code Africa. And yeah, I think we can work something out related to that. So like reducing some numbers here and working on like starting with something small. All right. Anyone else has some thoughts on this one? I'll be actually adding, the points that we're discussing right now, I'll be adding into this doc after the meet, so I can share those later.
Okay, so I'm concerned when you're saying something small. How do you define something small so that maybe as we're dividing it, we know maybe is it a button or maybe a page or just maybe any particular feature?
I'm not sure I got that question right. Can you please repeat?
Okay, I think it was yeah that was talking about maybe dividing it to suit the time frame for the hackathon, right? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so when he was saying dividing it into something small, so that's why I asked, like, what's the definition of something small? Are we talking about maybe dividing it like maybe per page or per feature or maybe per, let me just say per feature?
Yeah, so by something small, I think we can maybe reduce the number of parameters, and maybe we can reduce how many of the total members will be fetching, the data that will be fetching. We can maybe reduce that amount. By small, I mean that part. I'm not actually
Okay,
much
fine.
clear. I'm not actually much clear on this. We can maybe discuss more on that one. But yeah, right now the basic idea is that. I hope that was clear.
It seems like the dashboard link, the leaderboard link which I shared earlier, That is by default available in the discuss forum. Like you don't need to create any additional pages for it. If you open the last link which I shared, that already does the same, which is doing in that table.
This one, right?
No, I've shared another link in the chat. A near.
Yep. Hmm.
So if we already have this, then what extra is required?
Yeah, we have the basic things already set up from this. We can maybe build a little bit more top on this, I guess.
This
Actually,
basically has all the information, right? I think you'll need to create the ranking based on this information.
yeah. Uh, since we know we have the leaderboards and all of the data here, now we don't know. Now we don't need SQL or those things. We just need React.js as the skill to create the leaderboard on the discussion page. For example, at here, it will display, a bar with top 5 contributors on the forum.
So I think from what I'm understanding here is that now the main task would be to improve the UI, I guess, of the leaderboard, right? Or I may be wrong here as well.
I think I have a question too.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say top five contributors, sorry, what do you mean by that? Is it per topics read or the solution given or something like that? Replies posted. Sorry.
So the top 5, I guess, will be according to the rank, and the rank would be the total rank would be calculated from the parameters that we'll be setting, right? So the parameters that we talked about, the user who
Okay.
solves the most
Okay.
doubts, the activeness, and the total of that would be the rank of that particular user. And according to that, we can set them up on the leaderboard.
Okay. Cool.
But I guess this leaderboard also follows that particular pattern. Like it is actually like listing the users according to the rank, right?
Yeah.
So I am actually the first one because I visit like the leaderboard, the discussion forum a lot of times. So
I think it is the weekly results, right?
You can change.
Yeah, from 1 March to 7 March, as you can see.
It on the bottom
Yeah.
top left.
yeah,
Yeah.
To yearly or monthly as well.
all right.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the point is, if we require a better version of it, we could like from what I could get, we already have the API, right? We just
Yeah.
need to filter out the required data from the output of this API when the API hits, and then if we require it on the home page itself, as Yash mentioned it earlier, like having it another component, or if however it works, if it uses React also, or if vanilla JS itself, then doing it like that would be another option.
Yeah, sure, agreed on that. So maybe we can understand like how this leaderboard is actually working, and then we can work our way up from there. All right. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
awesome. So Raj, I guess then this point
That point doesn't make any sense.
yeah, this point would not won't need any discussion now, I guess.
Just add the link over there.
Devapriya, I am not able to hear your voice clearly. Can you speak?
She's saying that
She-
add the link there, like instead of yeah.
Yeah, sure. Just a second.
Okay, so the parameters that you are mentioning, do you have to work on that based on whatever is available right now, or are you going to use the same thing that's already there?
I think
another point is,
yeah,
Kunal, do you have the admin access in Discourse?
yeah, I have that. Yeah.
Okay, so can anyone who doesn't have the admin access try to open that link?
So
Which is discuss.layer5.io/u. No other parameters are needed.
so are you actually asking me or anyone else?
Anyway, because the reason being, anyone who doesn't have admin access. The reason being, I have a doubt that this page, no, it is only accessible to the admins of the forum.
Oh, so maybe I can try this on incognito.
No, it's working fine for me. I can see that page.
You are able to open this page.
Yeah,
Without even logging in.
yeah, even without logging in.
The next one.
I think it's the same with me. I don't need to log in for me to be able to access it.
All right. So Devapriya, to answer your question, I think like maybe we can remove or add some of these parameters, but I'm not really sure right now. We can maybe discuss this like with all the
Actually, we
mentors.
have all of the data, from this API. We just need to, build our rank generating algorithm or that thing.
All right. So basically, you are saying these are all the parameters that are already
Yeah.
set, and we'll be just working on the rank generating algorithm. Right. All right. Got it. So yeah, the next point was like, making a separate web page for listing all the rankings. We can put like a button on the main discussion forum page for, if you want to check your rank, like we can put a button here or any other place maybe. And then, listing all, let's start with, for like again mentioning to Nikhil's point, starting with small. So maybe we can work around with like top 10 members right now. On the rankings of the top 10 members will be only that would be shown right now, and then we can, in the future we can build on top of that and we can display more members, more ranks. So that was for this particular point. Raj, do you maybe want to talk about this one? Because
actually, since we already have this ranking system on our discussion forum, the UI, and coding does not require a lot of brainstorming right now.
Yeah.
So what we can, plan is to have a top 5 list of top 5 members on the forum at the discuss.layer5.io page, and we can have a button to send the user to the page where a list of all of the members is presented.
Yeah, that we can do that. That's a good approach. Anyone has any thoughts on this one? Because I feel that that one is a nice approach.
So can you hear me?
Yep.
So if you have top 5, then have like a button that takes you to list out the whole users on the leaderboard. Would that not be? I was thinking we'll do like say maybe top 10 and then next page, like pagination, instead of like having a page that lists all the users on the leaderboard in one page. I don't know. I'm just thinking if the data is too much, wouldn't it take too long, like to like load up and fetch all the users, or make the like render the leaderboard at once? That's my thoughts though. So
I think
wouldn't
like
it be like good to have like 10-10, like you just change, like, you could go to the next page, rather than like rendering it at once after the top 5.
yeah, to add to Raj's point, I guess he's mentioning like we can maybe, like this is the main page of the discussion forum, right? So maybe we can display like the top 5 members here.
Yeah.
Like we are giving them a shout out. These are like the top 5 members that are mostly using the discussion forum. And then we can have like a view more button, or like visit the leaderboard button. And talking about like the point of pagination, we can then, send a user to that separate page where, we can roll out like the pagination part.
Yeah, totally understand now. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Actually, the pagination feature is already implemented in at the meta.discourse.org link. Or
I don't think I tried logging into this the staging area of the discussion forum, and I can't. I don't think I have access. How do I get? I tried creating an account, still I can't get in. I don't know why.
yeah. Lee actually earlier mentioned that staging is not working right now. So if anyone wants to set up discuss on their local, they would have to set up discuss on their local system, and they can use Docker for that, Docker containers.
All right, thanks. Maybe I don't know if there's like a guideline on how to install Docker and use like set it up locally. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I was actually another point I was actually mentioning that maybe, because I was planning actually to create a guide for anyone to set up like the discussion forum on their local system, because I wasn't able to find. But yeah, I'll be working on that part, and you all can help with with creating that as well.
All right, great.
Yeah, so like these were the points that we discussed, and now that we have like a leaderboard itself on the discussion forum, for an example, we can definitely work our way up through that. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for sharing all those links. And yeah, like the last a few questions, like what tech stack would be expected. So like Raj mentioned, maybe we can use React now to basically display the rankings and the leaderboard in a separate page. And any other suggestions on that one? Because to be honest, I am actually not that much technical sound, so I would have to learn right now. But more thoughts on this one would be really appreciated.
Discuss doesn't use React, right?
Okay, so what are the tech stacks of the discussion forum? Is that HTML, CSS, Vanilla JS?
Yeah. Since we have all of the data and everything, we even don't need to create a whole new page with pagination features. I would predict that we would only need HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as the required tech stack.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
So we won't be using any framework. Like, we'll be using Vanilla instead of like React.js.
Even if we need to build a single component which displays a tab with top 5 contributors, even that particular thing does not require a full-fledged knowledge of React.js.
All right, okay.
I'd like to suggest we go with React.js because of it will make work a little bit faster, and because of the plugins available, then it will also reduce stress of the whole thing.
Teen, I am not sure if I got your point clear. Are you suggesting that we should go for React.js?
Yes, that's what I'm suggesting.
Yes, that's what he's suggesting. That's what he's suggesting.
Actually, to display a tab with top 5 contributors, that does not require any specialized or explicit knowledge of React.js. In the end, it will only require a single component built and injected into the existing web page at the discuss.layer5.io page. So yeah, even if you don't know React.js, you can just build up the component by referencing through some code base and inject that thing.
So maybe like we can keep React for the future.
Yeah. We can list React.js as well.
Something like that. Yeah. So right
Not
now
like,
go ahead, Raj.
Yeah, not like future plan. We can have React.js.
Already in the tech stack itself, we can mention React.js. You are suggesting.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
I had a question, like what type of leaderboard are we making? Like, does it have some kind of feature which can count some kind of commits or contributions from GitHub? Like it can fetch like how many contribution a particular contributor is making, and then we will display on this discuss forum or something.
We
doesn't call GitHub right now. It's only a discussions in the discuss forum.
Sorry, I
Like
can't
your
able to
interaction in the
understand.
discuss forum.
Yeah, I can answer that. So Siddharth, the leaderboard would be only targeting the users who are actually using the discuss forum. We'll not actually be recording the users, basically the user who are using GitHub and contributing to the layer 5 projects. This is only concentrated to the people who are actually using the discussion forum, and all the parameters are related to that only. So the activities from the GitHub and other project contributions are not included in this one. This is only concentrated on the discussion forum.
Okay. So won't you think it will be some kind of unfair to those guys or those contributors who are more into coding or more into development rather than documentation or discussing something? Like it is something I wanted to discuss, like if we are making some kind of a leaderboard.
So basically, the ranking of the leaderboard is still to decided upon how the people would be ranked on the leaderboard. Even if we move ahead with any particular algorithm, that would be taken as a decision. And secondly, if that's the leaderboard on the discuss forum, that leaderboard is only for the discuss forum itself, like how people are engaging on the discuss forum, and not in the overall Slack community or the GitHub community.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry, I have a question. So I see that you striked out the separate API endpoint for fetching ranking. So I missed that point. I was having some network troubles. So why is it striked out? Like, did you decide to use the data coming in from the current endpoints, or what was like the resolve that made it striked out? Did you get me?
Yeah, Raj, do you want to answer that, please?
Can you please elaborate a little more?
Yeah, so he's actually asking that why we striked out this point, separate API endpoint.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, earlier we were thinking about collecting the data on the backend from the community forum, then generating the ranking, and then building an API to allow the front end to fetch the result and then display it. But since we already have the discourse, API at layer5.io. We don't need all of those now. What we can do is just fetch all of the data from that particular API and calculate the ranking and display those ranking.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh. Thanks.
Yeah, so these were, the points that we wanted actually to discuss, and we cleared a lot of the doubts that we had. So any other doubts, Raj or Yash, or any mentors that we have? Any other doubts that you want to discuss about?
Yeah. So are the mentors also going to, code something, or they are going to just guide the mentees in the She Code Africa program?
Okay, so like Nikhil said, you guys will have to start off this project. Like I would suggest that you assign yourself the areas that you want to start off, because you will be the ones who will be there when it finishes. And as in suppose Raj, you take up the UI and Kunal takes up the database, for example. Then you can give up small tasks to the mentor, to the mentees, but you guys will have to start off to initiate the effort. So you can basically divide which area you're looking into right now, since we have time, and research more, and then get started with that area.
Okay, got it. So we have to plan out the whole thing, that divide the task among ourselves, and later on give a subtask to mentees.
Yeah, so basically what I meant is you guys will have to start it off, like even the coding. Unless and until start, there'll be nothing for the other mentees who come into the company.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So for like understanding how actually the discussion forum works, this is actually the doc that will help us all. This is like the design spec of the discussion forum. So we can refer this one and see like how the plugins and all work. And for the moderation doc that I shared previously, I can create a new doc for that one, because that is private. So you can all access the content for that as well. I'll be sharing it in the channel in a while, maybe. So yeah, like this was all for about discussing about the project. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little bit curious. How about the methods that are not really into coding? How are you gonna do that?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Can you?
I'm talking about methods that are not really into coding like per se. So how are we going to handle that?
I guess I'm
Are you
having some
saying
trouble
you
with.
are not into coding, right?
Nikhil, go ahead.
You are mentioning that you are not into coding, so how you can contribute to this project? Am I right?
Exactly. Although I'm a
Yeah.
backend, I'm a backend guy, so it's not like I'm just asking like a general question.
Got it. So basically, whenever Kunal and Raj and Yash have completed the wireframe, which is required to start off with the leaderboard task, okay, they will create issues accordingly, so that people from all the kind of backgrounds, since it is a tech project, so it will of course involve people from different areas, but based on the use case, if it requires something from the backend perspective as well, which you have already expertise into, then you could of course hop into those issues and contribute to the scene.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and for someone like who don't have like that much of technical knowledge like me, I will be learning in the process, to be honest, because I would have to learn the things like Node.js and all. I don't have that knowledge of that, but yeah, this would be like a new experience for me. So I'll be learning and as well as contributing to that. So yeah, really excited for this one.
That, yeah, okay. That I think that was what I actually had in mind. Yeah, when I asked.
Yeah, sure. So maybe I can stop sharing my screen now.
So I guess then, Devra, do you want to discuss the learning paths enhancement, or shall we keep that for the next one? Considering you are having issue with internet.
Yeah, we can keep that for the next call. We can discuss Shubhadeep's collapsible tags, that would be short term.
So, do you have Shubhadeep on the call? Yeah.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sure. Would you like to go ahead and share your development update?
Yeah, sure. 1 minute.
You can share the screen as well. Or if I had to do that, then you can ask me. Right?
Will you share it or I?
Yeah, you can take up this. No problem.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so previously in this blog section, there is no collapsible features. Means if we visit any category or any tags particularly, then this list becomes long. So that's why the issue, that was the issue to solve that. So I added this collapsible feature in the main page. Also, we can collapse this. Or if we visit any of this category or any of this tag, then it will collapse automatically. So for example, if we go there, then this thing is collapsed, and I can go to other thing by just clicking on this and see other list also. So this is the update. Anything do you want to share about that?
Cool. So yeah, that looks fine. Another update could okay. How is it? How does it comes up in the mobile?
Hello. Yeah.
How does it comes up in case of mobile view?
Okay. Let me show this. So this is something like that.
So it's in the bottom right.
Yeah, same all. If I go to
Uh,
main page also, in main
Also
place
in mobile
will be,
view, I think the discuss call out is covering some part.
this one. Okay,
in
this
case of
one.
mobile view, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is actually covering this arrow, or I guess. Yeah, actually it's covering this thing, this arrow.
Seems like it is that this issue is in the from the beginning itself. So yeah, either you
Okay.
can aim to fix it in this PR, or you could create a separate issue for it.
What
Another update,
should I solve this in this issue?
you can like it's always a
Okay,
I
okay,
think
sure.
only just updating the margin is the only fix required for it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So that will be. Apart from that, another update would be good, which I think would be taken up in a different issue as well. Is suppose you are navigated to a particular category or tags page, then that
Okay.
particular link on the sidebar should be highlighted, so that the user is aware that which filter is already filtered, like how the which filter is already being used.
Okay. Highlight. Okay, understood. Okay. So I can do that. Anything?
So everything That's good.
Okay. Okay, thank you then.
Thank you for the update, Shubhadeep. We are already over the time. Do you have any other items to be discussed? Devukya?
No, I think we're done for the day.
Okay, then that means we are good for today and we can set off next week. Cool. Bye everyone.
Bye.
See you all in the next week.
Hi.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.